When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you are in the championship rounds with the one and only King Amin of Essex. And I got mi hermana del boxeo, MC in the ring. She's back to join me. She made a prediction, but before I predict anything, I want her to project her information to you. Let the people know where they can find you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again. You can follow me on all social platforms. My handle is MC_in the ring. And then you can find my YouTube channel there that I have with my husband called In the Ring.
Let's get right to it. You called it almost verbatim. You said this fight, I'm paraphrasing. You said this fight is so crazy, the notion of it, I could see it not happening. I could see... Boy, did you call it. What gave you that inclination? First of all, that far back, what gave you that inclination?
So I just thought that there were so many inhibitors going in from the beginning. I'm not really sure how much risk management was done prior to the fight. They did take care of a lot of the things that we thought could have possibly inhibit the fight. Like, for example, Chris Eubank not being able to meet weight. There was a clause right in the contract where he was going to have to pay an extra 100,000 pounds, right? Or something. Crazy
per
like
pound.
That. Per pound.
Up to a certain amount.
Yes. So that was one of the things that we thought. And then as we got closer to the fight, we kind of thought maybe Chris Eubank is not taking the fight as serious. That was another concern that I personally also had. I mean, this whole while, because you also hear me in my interview with you, I thought Conor Ben is back at the gym, working, like really taking this serious. So
let me ask you real quick. A lot of people know Chris Eubank and his dad to be showmen or like to troll people. What made you see it, you know, just like I said, it wasn't on the Eubank side of things, but it was still like you saw Conor. What was it that really tipped your hand to say this fight isn't happening? What was it? Was it before fight week or was it something this week that happened?
I think this was actually prior to fight week when we had this. And again, I just thought that there were too many inhibitors that could have caused that fight for it not to happen. If you look at, not only did they have the weight clause, right? Also, Chris Eubank's father was speaking bad against the fight. So that was another thing that I thought maybe that's gonna affect the outcome of the fight or the fight might not happen. Then, of course, another thing that had happened prior to that was the passing of the Queen, right? So we were kind of like, okay, well, that fight didn't happen. I wonder if there's something else that's going to happen where this fight is not going to happen. If you think about it, there's a lot of injuries that have happened lately also throughout a lot of the, not only boxing, but also like the NFL's had a lot of injuries lately. So I think in the day of age now, there's so many things that could happen that if you see a fight pull through, that's great. And I really think that they were trying to make this fight not be stopped.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearns was doing almost everything to try to make the fight happen. And I understand that there were a lot of different things a lot of different people that were affected by the fight not happening. Like, what about the undercard athletes? They're not going to get to now fight. So all the time that they spend, the money, the time that they spend with their family, which is something that's priceless, they're never gonna get that back. So, but you see the size of event that was already scheduled. There's no way that they can say, maybe let's just have this little event. You're not gonna get that arena. They are already offering refunds, which I think it's great. But imagine like if we were, let's say that he would have been fighting Virgil and we wanted to fly over there. Now we would have been stuck in London with no fight. So it's just kind of sad from every way you look at it. Very disappointing. But then again, we knew it was a risky fight.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we knew from the beginning, and maybe Conor Ben tried biting more than he could chew. We don't know.
That's a great point right there, because when you bite off more than what you can chew, you're going to choke or crack a tooth, right? Now, you know, anytime you put yourself under that kind of pressure, it's like Tom Brady, one of the greatest, you know, arguably, if not the, he cheat too. You know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying sometimes, you know, depending on what it is. And if you really cut to it now, when it comes to PEDs, this is like out the window. And I've done a little bit of research, and from what I understand, this is a estrogen booster or somehow inhibitor. But what I know is that when you play around with hormones, you're trying to increase strength and endurance. So the fact it's a hormone on the table, whether it's testosterone, and this is something, you know, like they sell test boost over the counters, you know, like at vitamin shop and things like that. But still, you have to be very careful. Conor Ben, like what kind of, where does he, because you brought up George Ortiz and we know we wanted to see that fight. That's one of the fights we talked about. What happens with Conor Ben from here?
I think that I personally I'm never going to look at Conor Ben the same. And I'm so sad that this happened because I was really thinking he was gonna, I all thought he was gonna come and knock this guy out like he had been knocking everyone out in the past 3 fights or 2 fights. So now as a fan, it really makes you think what was going on and how was he able to achieve the power that he never had. When you talk about a fighter like Vergil Ortiz is in a consecutive knockout streak. He's 100% knockout ratio.
Yeah.
When you talk about people like Arthur Bertavie has also knocked out every single opponent that he's had. Conor Ben did not have even Gervonta Davis, Tank.
Yeah.
Okay, we know Tank. That's just the power that he comes with. Conor Ben didn't really come with that power in the beginning. He might have had some power maybe, but it was not like, it was something like, it wasn't like something that we expected on a higher percentage likely to happen, whatever. It was not happening like that. And then it started happening. I listened to the podcast with Chris Algieri.
Just go in there. Awesome.
Yes, they actually spoke about that. And Chris Algieri, people might not maybe think he's the best boxer out there, but he really understands all the side effects and everything that you could possibly put your body through.
Definitely.
I think he's done the homework. And not only that, he's also been an athlete, and he's also, I think he is a good person to speak on this topic. So I listened to everything he said and he made sense.
Well, Chris Algieri definitely is he has a master's degree in nutrition, he's a certified nutritionist. He's got a background in kickboxing, definitely a pro fighter. If this man, you know, and also been in the ring with Conor Ben, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
All sorts of experience enough to tell us whether he thinks that, you know, by his estimation, you know, it was something that, you know, perceived as unnatural power or freakish power. You know, we know fighters can say, nah, you know, the guy can pop or he could bang or it was a flash. And then it's just like, you know, he was real aggressive and his power was different, you know. And it's funny, he puts himself at risk for this. Chris Van Heerden even came out and said, I wonder, was he on something when I fought him? You know, Adrian Granados, you know, these guys are coming out and say, yeah, you might have been on something and couldn't stop me. Yeah, this doesn't do a lot for his reputation. On the other hand, what do you think about Eubank? Where does he go from here?
I think Eubank ended up coming like a hero out of this. He was ready to fight. He did everything that he was supposed to do. And he was willing, he basically met his contract. So to me, he's going to get a good match. I think maybe he might now get the Triple G fight that he never got.
Yeah. I'm
not sure, but I think Triple G doesn't have a contract anymore. So maybe that's something that could possibly happen.
Well, listen, the last time you spoke something to, this is my imaginary crystal ball, because the last time you spoke something, it came. So maybe, because again, all the weight restrictions, and then all of a sudden he gets blessed with the opportunity to move up in weight, big fight, similar money, zone.
Well, they can fight at 160, right?
Yeah, because Triple G did say he still has business at 160.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I see them fighting at 160. That is Chris Eubank's weight. So I think he's already ready, already had a good camp. And again, I don't see him beating Triple G, but if he wants to go and get paid because he didn't get paid this time around, and maybe Eddie owes him.
Yeah.
I don't know who his promoter is, but they might have to put something together for him because he didn't get to do this fight.
Yeah, you know, he's definitely been tied to I'm not sure, is it Boxer with Ben Shalom? But
Yes.
you know, they pretty much do business with everybody, you know.
Correct.
At least from what I see. So definitely interested. And again, you pointed out, I hate that the undercard fighters miss out on an opportunity. I have my eye on Ellie Scottney and Mary Romero. You know, disappointed, but hey, let's talk about, I guess, another fight that's not happening according to Oscar de la Hoya. Oscar's saying that he doesn't believe that, and for what it's worth, you know, I don't like to tease Oscar a lot, you know what I'm saying? But
Same.
Oscar, he lives in the public for us to judge, and he takes everything on the chin, just as he did when he was a warrior in the ring. So I'm teasing you, Oscar, but he often has a lot to say about Canelo, almost like a jilted lover, my ex-homeboy, whatever.
That's his ex right there.
That's so, okay.
Yeah.
He's saying Benavides fight will never happen. I think we all know that. Is he saying something that's common knowledge, or I don't know.
I think he's speaking probably not only from his promoter hat, but also from his fighter hat. And I think he's saying that maybe if Canelo's smart, he should stay away from Benavides. I personally think that Canelo should stay away from Benavides if he doesn't want to maybe retire soon. I think that I don't see the fight happening. It's just not a good, like, it's not a good percentage of Canelo winning, I think. And people might think that who is David Benavides and he doesn't have a long record. Okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you were to look at Canelo's last performances, he did not have amazing performances. He was coming off a loss against Triple G, and not a close loss like Charlo against Castaños. It was a wide loss, right? And then now you go over to Triple G. You said you were gonna stop him. His fans said he's 40 years old. Of course he's gonna knock him out. He didn't knock him out. He did not look good towards the end of the round. He did not win the championship rounds. So how do you expect he's gonna be able to defend against a young David Benavides, somebody who not only has good defense, but also can bang, and is also way bigger than you naturally. This guy is like a big guy. So in reality, he can really go up to 175 if he really wanted to right now. So I see David becoming a probably maybe 3 to 4 weight class champion. So he might be young now, but he's definitely going to be able to eventually do that. I don't see him getting the fight though. I think you're muted. No, I can't.
No?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, aside from Benavides, you know, I guess him being a kind of a boogeyman, you know what I'm saying? I think boogeyman is a right term for him, and he's being avoided. He's definitely being ducked. And I hope that he gets some fight soon. And you know, one thing I want to talk about too, we mentioned last week, or the last time we talked rather, Ocampo and Fundora. Some things I just got educated about. I didn't realize Ocampo feels like he's being underestimated. He's being underrated against Fundora. I think rightfully so, but according to him, he was a young fighter, This was at 147, the whole thing with Earl Spence. You know, fighters do sometimes get, you know, they give a better account of themselves when they're allowed to move up. Maybe he's comfortable at a bigger weight.
He's still really young. He's only 26 years old.
Yeah, so. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that this is like he's getting kind of outshadowed because of the loss to Spence and because it's Fundora, or do you think he's an actual live dog in this fight and should be given a little bit more respect?
I think that the only respect that he needs is going to be from Fundora. And I think Fundora is giving him that respect. So we, as like the non-hardcore fans, might think, oh yeah, we've heard of this guy. He has an 80-inch reach. He's going to knock this guy out, and he's on a consecutive stoppage. Look at what he did to Lubin's face. I mean, right? So you do, maybe if you just casually watch boxing, you might think that he's gonna go in there and destroy this guy. But I think Fundora is in his early career, and he's such a professional that I think he understands that he needs to take this guy serious and not necessarily just go in there and treat him as a non-valid opponent.
Yeah, I agree. I think Fundora, you know, what we saw and what I believe is he can fight to the level of his opponent, but I think he can dominate once he meets an opponent at that level. I think that's what he did with Lubin. So I think if Ocampo's trying to come in there and say, hey, you know what, I got some wrinkles in my game, I think we can expect Fundora to continue to elevate and show his, you know, his. It isn't Ocampo's fault that Fundora is maturing in this way, and it's a great opportunity for us to not dispose of Ocampo should he lose to Fundora. I think the key for him would to be rebuild after this fight. But hey, he's a live dog. We want to show respect to him. A fight that I think is getting overlooked on that undercard, man. Adames and Montiel. And I talked about Montiel because he mentioned about his fight with Charlo and knowing that fight with Charlo doesn't make sense. He can appreciate Charlo or understand why Charlo would avoid a fight with him. So now he's in here with Adames. And I think that, you know, and as far as the middleweight division is concerned, it gets lost because we wonder what Triple G is doing and pretty much Triple G's going to fight Canelo and then, you know, Charlo. That's all we really know. So I think that this fight could produce a legitimate contender. People got mad when Charlo had Janibek the Bully as an opponent, but would a rematch with Montiel or a face-off with Adames, would that intrigue you for Charlo? Because we know we want to see Charlo get active too.
So I personally don't think that Charlo is going to be staying at 160. We are still not sure about that either. Remember, he had said that he wanted to go up to 168. So I think that a fight with Montiel, no. He's already beating Montiel. I think Montiel is going to come with it. I personally think Carlos Adames is going to win this fight. I'm not sure. I've heard that he's still not in America. I was watching earlier the press conference and they say he hasn't arrived yet.
No, damn.
So I hope that he makes it. I mean, I think they probably have a person that they can call to replace him, but I don't believe he was at the press conference earlier.
Wow.
So Carlos Adames has only lost to Dervin Checo. So Dervin Checo is a good opponent. He gave Triple G a very close fight. So Absolutely. People might think that is a good opponent. So I think Adames is just not necessarily the more younger guy because they're kind of the same age, but I think he has a little bit less miles. And I think he's going to be able to he has more of a room to still pivot versus Montiel already lost also to Mukia, who personally, I don't know, Mukia also is another person they're hanging around the 160 division that just they don't have good fights.
No.
And you keep wondering, when are they ever going to have a good fight where they actually, or a good test? They need to literally start facing each other. Why haven't we seen, for example, Adames already fight Mukia, right? They don't want that, right? So they're waiting for Mukia's big payday.
Yeah, and I hate that about the middleweight division, and I hope these guys eventually meet each other. you know, this undercard's pretty deep though. Let's go with 2 more fights on this undercard. Egidijus Kavaliauskas against Mykal Fox.
This one's gonna be good too.
Mm-hmm. Who do you got?
I think that so the Mean Machine is already an older fighter. He know that obviously he lost to Terrence Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
He did kind of drop Terrence Crawford. There's a big miscommunication there. People like to say it was a slip. He also was the only person to drop Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah.
So the Mean Machine has a lot of power. And I really don't think that Fox is going to be able to take that. I think maybe he's maybe a little bit older now, but he is coming off. He is coming off that loss against Virgil. We do know that Virgil's a heavy hitter, so maybe he was affected by that. I don't know, but I think this one's going to be a good scrap. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of the depth of this undercard, I had to take a second look in light of us losing the whole Ben Eubank card.
Yeah.
So I got one more fight, and this one you threw to me, and I didn't even know what Jerwin Ancajas was doing because the flyweight, sometimes I'm missing what's going on, but we got Puma Matrinez versus Jerwin Ancajas, and this is a rematch.
Yes, I'm very excited for this one. So I actually predicted this one last time whenever Martinez won. I looked at first of all, Martinez is Argentinian. Argentinians are known to have amazing fighters.
Yes.
They're also, so it's not, he's also part of the greatest fighter who is Maidana. Maidana is his promoter.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure Maidana, like Golden Boy, has a good eye for this stuff, right? So the fact that he was able to find this talent, I think it's amazing. I'm very excited to see him fight. I think he's going to be able to put on a show. And personally, I don't think that there's a lot of, Ancajas did during the press conference say that he really didn't take this camp serious, right? The last camp, or that his conditioning wasn't there. That's what he said at the press conference. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think Puma is too young. He's 31 years old, but I think he's taking less punishment. He's 14-0. He's never lost. Ancajas has already lost twice. He, of course, lost to Puma. And I just don't see Ancajas being able to do a lot of things different this time around to get Puma. So I'm looking forward to seeing this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking Puma's going to pull this one off again. And Ancajas, I don't know if this was honesty, but sometimes honesty, doesn't serve you well because you talk yourself out of it, or maybe he's being a gamesman. I doubt it very seriously, but Jerwin Ancajas, his style is so unorthodox. He's not going to know what to do because he thinks that if he can catch people jumping around, it's only one Manny Pacquiao. And I hate, sometimes when people love, like everybody wants to shoulder roll. Yeah. Everybody wants to jump around. Every southpaw Filipino wants to jump around and try to find angles. It only works for one guy. And exactly. Puma, Argentine fighters are so educated. They're so skilled. I mean, and they bring I think a different type of ruggedness because people, they have no idea where Castaño just came out of the blue. But then you got the female fighters, my girl, yes. What's her name? Jorgelina Gunani, I think. But it's so many Argentine fighters. Hell, the girl that Amanda Serrano fought. No, matter of fact, I think she was a Spaniard, but still in all.
They're known for great athletes, no doubt.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, anything else you want to cover before we get at it? Because we ran through that card. We got some action coming up next week. I'm going to try to have you back because, number one, we got to see how all these predictions pan out. And then number two, we got the heavyweight, Deontay Wilder, and we got Caleb Plant coming up. So we're going to have to touch bases soon. But is there anything else you want to let us know or let the people where they can find you? Anything else you want to cover, sis?
Just make sure to find me on my Instagram and my Twitter. My handle's MC_in-the-ring. And please make sure to subscribe to our channel. We are on the road to 1,000 followers. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me again.
No, thank you for joining me, sis. It's always a pleasure. King Amin of Essex, MC in the ring, the championship rounds. We out of here.
Thank you.